right, folks, that is the voice of the one and only Al Michaels, and I am so happy to say he joins us. He has a brand new book out. You can't make this up. Miracles, Memories, and the Perfect Marriage of Sports and Television. Al Michaels, welcome, sir.
Thank you, Steve. Good to be with you on this Friday afternoon in Gotham.
And you're in Gotham. You're doing the Giants and the Cowboys on Sunday Night Football, right, on Sunday?
That's right. The Giants trying to snap a 5-game losing streak, and the Cowboys trying to see if maybe this is the year for them. It's been a long time.
I'd love to, if we had more time, I would love to ask you why on earth the Giants changed offenses with a quarterback who's won 2 Super Bowls, but that's another interview for another time. Is that call, is the Miracle on Ice call, with all you've done, all the Olympics, all the World Series, all the Stanley Cup Finals and the NBA Finals, is that the most, is that what you'll be remembered for, do you think, most?
I would think so, and only because it gets played back to me so much. It was such a phenomenal game and event, and meant so much to the country because of what the U.S. was going through at that particular time. And I can only judge by things like last night being out on Long Island and at a bookstore and doing a bunch of signings, and there were maybe 200, 250 people there, and at least half of them, when I signed the book, asked me to write "Do you believe in miracles?" So it means so much to so many people all of these years later, and it's not as if I'm dining out on this thing. It's just something that happened in my career. It's 34 years old, and but a lot of people still get a lot of thrills from it, and even people who weren't born. The kids have heard the stories from their parents and from their grandparents, and they hear about it. They watch the movie Miracle, and they're as excited as the people who saw it on that day.
Absolutely. But if you could pick something to be, and I don't want to be morbid here, but if you could pick something to be remembered by, one event, one call, or something, what was your favorite, or what would you like it to be?
Well, I think it would be that, because it just meant so much to so many people, and I'm just calling the game, and that thing came out of my heart. And it's at a time, Steve, when nobody's really doing things for posterity. There were no home VCRs in those years.
Right.
So it's not as if you're thinking, oh, my God, this thing's going to be played back forever and ever. No, I'm just calling the game, and as that game wound down, I'm trying to just stay in the play-by-play. And people have said, well, did you think about it beforehand? And I said, are you kidding? I thought the U.S. was going to lose like 14-2. And how stupid would it have sounded if I had thought of something, and as I'm saying something at the end of the game, the Soviets scored to tie the game. Now, that would have been one for the ages.
Now, do you believe that too many broadcasters these days are too staged in the sports world, that they do know that everything's going to be replayed and recorded, and they want their own moniker and their own, ID'd call kind of thing?
I think from time to time that does happen, but I've talked to a lot of guys coming up in the business, and I remember in '98 there were a couple of guys who could have been in position to call what would have been the Mark McGwire home run to break Roger Maris's record, and they asked me about what it is they should be thinking about. And I said to them, look, you just have to trust your instincts. If you're good enough to have gotten to that point where you're doing Major League Baseball, you're there for a reason. You're pretty good at what you do, and you really just have to trust your gut, because if you think of something, it just sounds scripted and staged, and then gets very staid in the long run. So go with your instincts and see what happens, and just hope for the best.
And folks, everything, the whole story of Al Michaels is in this book, and we only have a few minutes, so I don't want to lose that fact. So get the book, and all the great events, all the great experiences, all the people he worked with, it's all in the book. But I want to ask you, first of all, I forgive you for your Kings beating my Devils. I I praise you and applaud you for your Kings beating the Rangers, who I despise. But let me ask you this.
We'll take care of the Islanders next for you.
Is there a place in sports broadcasting for political views? Bob Costas comes to mind, with his views on guns and the Redskins issue and other issues. Do you believe that that's the place of someone in your position?
Well, Bob is a great pal. In fact, I just saw him out at the Giants facility. He interviewed Odell Beckham for the halftime interview this week. My feeling is this. There are places for that, and the places would be outside the game itself, pregame shows, HBO shows, other shows outside the lines on ESPN might be another place for that. Halftime, I guess, some people don't mind it. Other people say, leave it out of halftime. I want to watch the game. I am doing the game, and my feeling is, Steve, that if people have tuned in, they want to watch the game.
Right.
They don't want to be lectured. They don't want to be told what they should think. They don't want to see necessarily both sides of some issue that has permeated the news for 6 days. When it gets to Sunday night, I think people tune in and they say, "I want my
The
football."
game, right. Well,
they want the game, and that's what I do.
30 seconds. Could a conservative Bob Costas give his views, do you think?
Maybe, but then again, it's polarizing. No matter which side of that spectrum you're on, you're going to flip a lot of people off.
No, I understand that, but is it easier for a Bob Costas to get that airtime than a conservative Bob Costas?
That's a very good question. I don't. That's a great question.
All right, Keith.
I'm not sure
Keith.
I have the answer for you.
All right, Al, we got to end it. Thank you very much, sir. Pleasure to
bet.
talk to you.
Take care,
The great Al
Take
Michaels,
care,
ladies and gentlemen, and I wish we had more time. We'll be back with more, but first, let's take a look at the day that we lost the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley.
August 16th, 1977 is a date forever remembered by music lovers throughout the world as the day the King died. Born a twin on January 8th, 1935 in Tupelo, Mississippi, Elvis Aaron Presley's twin brother Jesse died at birth, leaving the future entertainment legend to grow up a single child. After making his first recording at age 19 for Sun Records, 1 year later, RCA bought his contract, and within 2 years, Elvis Presley emerged as an international recording sensation. But at age 22, young Elvis was drafted into the Army. He declined special service status and trained alongside regular soldiers at Fort Hood before joining the Army's 3rd Armored Division in Germany. After 2 years of service and meeting his wife Priscilla, Sergeant Elvis Presley returned to civilian life and went on to star in 33 films and break records for his television specials and appearances. But concerts were always his first love.
It's my favorite part of the business, is a live concert.
80,000 people lined the streets as a parade of white limousines made their way to Graceland to pay their final respects. Today, Graceland remains the 2nd most visited home in America after the White House. You're watching An American Moment on Newsmax TV.